Welcome back to the channel. Today I thought I'd give you some Arrow video recommendations, top 5 if you will. There's a sale at the moment, the Camp Arrow video sale, and I'm going to do 2 videos. I'll do one for video, I'll do one for Academy. The Arrow video Blu-ray line is on sale in Zavvi and HMV, in store and online as well, so you don't have to buy directly off Arrow. But the Arrow Academy stuff is only available, it seems, on the Arrow Films website itself, so we'll do that film separately. So where to start with the top 5, or for 5 releases. I will say I've tried not to pick the most obvious ones that I could have, so when I've been going through the types of releases that there are, I've tried to stick away from the obvious ones, and that's no more so than for the first one, which is, we've got to have a Brian De Palma film in here somewhere. There's a lot of Brian De Palma releases in the line. The standout one is probably Blowout. I mean, it stands up there with any of his other great films, such as The Untouchables or Scarface. But Raising Cane's a pretty good one, if for no other fact than John Lithgow just gives one of these just incredible performances as not just one character, but as multiple characters within the one movie. So, Raising Cain is a film about, well, multiple personalities. I've already alluded to the fact that John Lithgow plays 3 characters in it. He plays a doting father and husband, the young girl. He plays 2 other characters. One is including a psychiatrist, an older psychiatrist character. And, yeah, I mean, it's a film where you're not quite sure who is what's going on. I know why the first time I watched it, maybe it was more obvious in second time or otherwise about who was who, but I was caught up in that, you know, who is who thing for a lot of the movie. But it's typical De Palma. It's not a straightforward thriller. You know, there are definite stages to the narrative that goes along. There's a resolution of the plot and what happens, the young characters in it, etc. And then we have, obviously, as in all the Palma films, a big finale where, you know, there's some fireworks, not quite literally in the sense of something like Blowout, but excellent movie nonetheless. The second one is a spaghetti western, and again, a lot of spaghetti westerns in the Arrow video line, but I'm gonna go for Day of Anger, starring Lee Van Cleef, as you can see from the cover there. Lee Van Cleef plays an wizened old head of a gunslinger called Frank Talby, who comes into town and is befriended by one of the young characters that are in town, a young man by the name of Scott. Scott Meary is his name, and he gets bullied by everybody in town for being a bit dim, or, you know, he doesn't stick up and fight for himself. He has no fight for himself, but he tags on to Lee Van Cleef's character, Frank Talby, and he decides that he wants to emulate him, and he sees him very much as a role model to his life. But that brings the fact, well, who is this fella that has come into town? What are his motivations? Is he a good guy? Is he who knows? That's the whole thing. So, spaghetti western that I think is a notch above many of the other ones that you'll see, and a good solid watch. Next one along is a recent release, and I said I wasn't going to go for the obvious ones, but just in case anybody hasn't seen this is The Endless by Justin Benson and Aaron Moorhead. Now, I've talked in previous films about The Endless, but in case this is the only video of mine you ever see, I think The Endless is absolutely terrific. It tells the story of 2 brothers who were formerly in a death cult that managed to escape, come back to normal life, and one day get a recording, I think it's a VHS, sent to them, basically inviting them to come back. And, well, the real world hasn't exactly worked out swimmingly for them, so one of the brothers decides that he would like to go back and just see what it was they were missing, and the other one tags along to make sure that they're okay. And when they go back, everything just seems to be rosy. Everything, they wonder why they ever left. It's a warm, friendly place, but it's not long before some weird things start happening in this world. And yeah, this film, I've seen it three times now. I'll watch it many more times after that, because the quality of the writing, the quality of the direction, the quality of the storytelling, I think more so than anything else, leads it into this incredibly watchable film. And I think this is a great disc. This limited, if you're lucky enough, if you go in store, you might find a couple of these. I went into my local HMV this morning and they had 5 or 6 copies of this limited edition, which has a bonus disc of one of the earlier films, Resolution, which ties in. It's a companion piece to this, but the film stands alone by itself anyway. It doesn't need that other film to watch. But a really terrific performance by both the main characters, who write and direct, do the whole bit, and certainly one of the best releases that I've seen and watched last year. My only regret is that this actually opened up the Belfast Film Festival as the main premiere, and I didn't go and see it then. I didn't know about the film at that stage, but the fact that they were here, etc., is a real missed opportunity as far as my film journey goes. The next one is a bit of a personal favourite. So I am a great fan of Antipodean cinema, so New Zealand, Australia films. Again, I've talked about these previously, but I'm going to talk about The Quiet Earth. And it's a film by Jeff Murphy, and it stars, where till I get his name, Bruno Lawrence, who you'll recognise from many other Australian type dramas. Most notably for me, he starred in Smash Palace, which I dearly adore on that, and maybe making an appearance in the Arrow Academy line. But The Quiet Earth tells the story of his character, who works as an engineer scientist in some what seems to be top secret project based around energy, and he wakes up one morning to find out that he seems to be the only person left on Earth, hence The Quiet Earth. And part of the film is about how he deals with living in isolation with nobody else there. What does his daily habit come like? What happens with him? And then subsequently it goes about investigating, well, what could have happened, what did happen here in this film. And I think it's an absolutely terrific film, one that is great to watch. It's from 1982, I think, and it's set in New Zealand, like I said. Just really interesting movie. I've seen this a couple of times as well. On the disc there is a video essay and an interview with Kim Newman as well, which is always good to watch. So a really good release, never mind a really good film, and one that I like a lot. And last but not least, I'm going to pick, well, one of the genres that the Arrow video line is known for, and that is giallo, or the Italian slasher thriller combo. And I could have went for an Argento one, but lots of people will recommend Argento films. I went for another one that wasn't maybe as instantly well thought of or talked about, and that is Death Walks on High Heels. And one of the reasons that I think this is so good is the fact that you have a really strong female character called Nicole. And Nicole works as a dancer in a club, who has men fallen over her, but she gets involved with, well, somebody trying to kill her, somebody trying to threaten her, and other stabbings and killings that go on throughout and in the sidelines of the film. And it is basically about her escape and living, and how she's linked to the killer, but also ultimately about who is the killer. It's the ultimate whodunit, you know, that as like many giallos are famous for. So who is the killer here, as you try and guess along and see how that goes. So I think Death Walks on High Heels is a notch above a lot of giallo. The one that Death Walks in Midnight, that actually used to come in a set with these, but you can buy them both separately, I think is a good step below these. They're both by Luciano Ercole, but Death Walks in High Heels, I think, for the fact of both the opportunity and the performance of the main actress here, really makes it stand out. And this thing twists and turns the whole way through. So a really terrific film. In fact, I like it so much that I bought the soundtrack for it, and the soundtrack itself is something that's worth talking about as well. It's an absolutely brilliant soundtrack, and I have to say, these Arrow vinyl releases are fantastic. I do love them. This is just the black vinyl one, but the soundtrack for this film is equally fantastic. And if the Arrow records are on sale at the moment, as well. I would suggest picking this up because it really is very good. So that's that. So there's my 5 films, or my 5 picks from this Arrow video sale. I recommend that you pick them all up, but given that they're about $7.50 each, you can pick more than 5 if you want. There are lots and lots of choices there. I've tried to stay away from a lot of the box sets because a lot of the box sets seem to go out of print and seem to go out of print fairly quickly. But if you would like some recommendations, let me know in the comments that you'd like some recommendations or talks through or shows through the box sets, and I'll certainly make a little video about that as well. As usual, thanks for watching. Tell me what you've picked up in the Arrow video sale, and I'll speak to you all soon. Take care. Speak to you soon. Bye.